I'm happy to be joined with Tyler McMurchie from SGI. Thank you so much for joining me today, Tyler.
Oh, happy to be here.
SGI recently released a statement about the increase in penalties for stunting and street racing. Can you tell me why the increase in charges and what they are?
Yeah, so to be clear, these are penalties that have been imposed by the provincial government. They were actually announced as part of a larger announcement back in March, but we thought with the fact that they're going to be taking effect on October 1st, it was worth reminding people that the penalties for street racing and the penalties for stunting are going up significantly.
That's great. Now, what are the charges so people are aware of the increase and how much it is increasing by?
So the penalty for a first ticket for either offense is $580. Now that's a significant increase from both the previous penalty for street racing, which was $205. That's what that ticket would have cost you, and stunting was $150. The other thing that people should be aware of, and this isn't new, but it's something we like to remind people, street racing will also result in a 30-day vehicle impoundment. Now, along with the increased penalties, the wording of the legislation has also been clarified. There's more details in it now, and it addresses a number of specific behaviors for both stunting and for street racing.
Now, street racing is kind of straightforward in meaning, but what classifies stunting?
Yes, and it applies to a number of different behaviors that I think anybody would see and realize that that's not safe driving behavior. But it includes things specifically listed in the legislation, like attempting to lift wheels of your vehicle or your motorcycle off the ground, attempting to spin out. It refers to driving with somebody not in the driver's seat or driving with someone in the trunk of the vehicle. Spending more time in the oncoming lane than is necessary to pass. It also addresses a number of behaviors that kind of cover your relationship with others on the road, driving too close to somebody or interfering with them in some ways. Now, this is all addressed in very legislative speak, but these are the kind of things that you should probably avoid doing if you don't want to get one of these very expensive stunting tickets.
Why was the decision made to make these increases?
So again, these are decisions made by government, but broadly speaking, these are unsafe behaviors. They're obviously things that people shouldn't be doing on public roads that they're sharing with other motorists and cyclists and pedestrians and motorcyclists. But the penalties are now more in line with distracted driving, which went up in February of 2020. And so the cost of a first ticket is the same for both. And I think it really does speak to the seriousness of these offenses. A $205 ticket might not be as much of a incentive to behave yourself as a $580 ticket is. The other thing that people will probably want to be aware of is there's actually a couple of phases to this legislation. Right now, we're talking about the more expensive financial penalties that will take effect October 1st. But later this year or early next, there will be additional standardization of vehicle impoundments and license suspensions that will be implemented for both stunting, street racing, and a couple of the more serious speeding offenses as well. So for all of those offenses, you're looking at that 30-day vehicle impoundment, which is now currently in place for street racing, but will be in place for stunting and for speeding over 50 kilometers per hour over the limit or speeding at twice the speed limit. And also for those 4 offenses, you're looking at a 7-day license suspension. And so those are pretty serious consequences, but they are very serious offenses.
That's amazing. And hopefully this helps combat unsafe driving to make those roads a lot more safer for motorists. Thank you so much for joining me today, Tyler.
Well, that's what it's all about. Thanks very much, Abby.
Of course.